Right. Okay. So let's start our Simply Bridal Rose demonstration. Welcome to those who are watching it live and to those who are going to be watching it in the recorded form. Today we're going to talk about yet another rose, but this one I felt was good basic closed rose. When we say closed rose, we mean it doesn't have any stamens inside, so it's like a bud inside. And I tried to simplify the assembly to make it really quite easy to remember. It doesn't have too many wires inside, so it can be sewn onto, for example, a bridal dress, or you can turn it into anything else you want to use a rose in. Originally, I developed it for somebody who came to me with their own fabrics, which were quite heavy silks, and that was for a bridal dress, and I made quite a lot of them in different silks. So it is quite, as I said, simple to assemble. If you want to use fabrics that have already been factory dyed or natural silks in natural colors, it's perfectly fine. Otherwise, you can hand dye your petals to make sure it looks more realistic. I've shown you one example like this here, so that the petals, this is not finished, but the petals have been dyed in kind of pink and yellow and green to look a bit more like a real rose. Or you can have it just in like natural silk. This is about 8 centimeters. This is 10, so kind of in the middle. And also you'll have the templates for a larger option, which is 14, 15 centimeters, depending on how you're going to, spread out your petals. So this one is made out of golden Dupion silk. So it's silk with some metallic thread. And I used some lace over the same fabric to make the leaves. So it's kind of all in the same tone, but there is something different on the leaves. This one I finished as a brooch, and we did this island finish several demos ago, so it can be used here, or you can just simply use a normal calyx to finish it as we finish all roses. That's up to you. This 10 centimeter size is good for a hat trim or a choker or a brooch. It's not too big. It's kind of a good size. 15, obviously, or 14, 15 is large. So as a corsage, it's going to be very big, but you can also turn it into a headpiece. It's like a whole headpiece there. I was thinking what to do with it, but decided to go for just an oversized brooch in this case. But as I said, you can do whatever you want with it. So in terms of fabrics, there were some suggestions on Patreon. I don't know if you have gone through them. There's a lot of different options you can use. Perhaps you already have something in your stash. Have a look. I often buy fabrics that I like. Maybe not necessarily knowing where to use them there and then, but then they come in handy when another project comes along. So I did have several fabrics already, which I used for these roses, which were sitting, waiting their time. But now they were quite useful, and I'm thinking, oh, these are really nice fabrics. Where did I buy them from? And I don't remember, as always. So anyway, have a look through what you already have. So for example, that golden rose was made out of this fabric. And I just bought, I like everything with metallics. They're not a very, a common fabric, so I always buy a little bit. Then also you might have some lace if it's a bridal, especially if it's a bridal design. You might want to use maybe the lace that the bride has in that dress. I'm gonna try and show a leaf at the end with made with lace and some lightweight fabric or silk that you can use together with this rose, or alternatively you can just make leaves out of whatever fabrics you have, even the same fabric, or maybe no leaves at all, especially if it's a choker, you don't really need a leaf. So yes, have a look at the fabrics. All sorts of heavy satins. Heavy satin silks might be expensive because they're quite, there's obviously quite a lot of silk that went into there. Another option can be silk cotton mixes. I've got one today delivered, but I didn't have time to stiffen it. So that might be an interesting option. Let me just show. So it has quite a nice, sorry, but just the camera. Stop it. So it has a nice sheen, just like a silk satin, but because it's 50-50 with cotton, the price is more affordable, and perhaps it actually is easier to work with. And they are quite heavy. They're also going to be nice for camellias. I probably want to make some quite large camellia out of it as well. I'm trying to experiment about, on stiffening them, trying to keep this sheen. I don't know. I'm trying to use starch to see if that can preserve it, because I like it working with PVA, but PVA does kind of take the sheen off in most cases or reduces it quite a bit. So anyway, if I'm successful, I'll let you know. But this is an option. This I just got of somebody selling silks on eBay, and I liked the combination of silk and cotton, and it looked like something that could work for our purpose. And if you have an idea of fabric in mind, you can just search, and there's a lot of different places which can sell fabrics, and often you can buy half a meter or even less of that. This is also quite an interesting. This is a silk satin, but it's like a devoré or kind of semi-transparent in places, kind of like a how to say, animal print. I haven't tried it yet, but that's something else different. And also, this is a silk net that I also got. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I sometimes like using it with opaque petals to add a bit of light. And in the same way, you can use organza, even in these roses, especially in a larger size. A heavier silk together with a very light silk, and it will add more volume. So hopefully, if we have time, I'll show what I mean by making a petal like this. Right. So I have chosen for today. Let me just switch the camera to the table. Yeah. So for today, I've chosen this blue crepe de chine, which is a silk fabric with no right side, and it doesn't fray, which works quite well for roses. So I've chosen this one to make a 10 centimeter rose. We'll make a middle size, which is easier. But obviously, if you want to experiment with larger size, you're very welcome. And I will turn it into a choker. So I've shaped some petals. I'll show you what I've done here so you know how to shape them as well. But larger petals, I left some to show you because they're more complicated to shape than the smaller ones. So let's see, wait a second. Right, so this rose has 3 sizes of petals, which is kind of quite typical for most roses, and it's like a heart-shaped petal. Again, very, very typical of rose. All the templates are placed at 45 degrees on the bias, and you already know that. So I just have a couple here to cut out and show you how to shape. This fabric I bought, I think it was like in remnants or something, and it was waiting for its time. And now the time has come, so Any fabrics you buy, you can stiffen yourself. If you don't remember how, I'll leave a link in the lesson for you to remind you how to do it.